Hey, what's up guys, aarava here, and welcome back to a brand new video here today where we're going to be using the F1 game to predict the rest of the real-life Formula 1 season. On this year's installation of the F1 game, F1 2021, we've got a new game mode called Real Season Start, which was pretty damn cool when we heard about it first and foremost, but I've not actually used it yet so far since the game came out. So today, I thought I'd put it to the test. So you can actually start from any point in the season, any Grand Prix that has been done. So from the start of the season at Bahrain all the way up to what we've just done recently, the Russian Grand Prix, the Turkish Grand Prix obviously is the latest race we just did, but Turkey is not in the game and won't be coming to the game, unlike Imola, Portimao and Saudi Arabia eventually next month, which is coming in. You know, those got added in and those real season starts got added in. And when you jump into that point in the season, you take over a driver's position in their team, in the championship. All the points up to that point are the real life points we've seen from the real racing. So for example, if we chose the Monaco Grand Prix, up to that point, the points going into the real life Monaco Grand Prix would be the points tally that are available to us in this kind of real season start career mode. And then we have a chance to rewrite history essentially, or carry on the good work that a certain driver has done or a team has done, but you replace the driver as well. So a way we're going to do this is I'm going to replace Nikita Mazepin in the Haas for the sake of, you know, choosing the driver who's going to affect the championship the least, basically at the back of the grid. Probably could have chosen Schumacher as well, but we're going to go with Mazepin just in case Schumacher does a madness in one of these races. And we're going to simply simulate every single race that is left on the calendar to see what the computer of F1 2021, the game, is going to predict is going to happen in the championship with Verstappen versus Lewis Hamilton, and also the rest of the drivers and the constructors therefore as well. Now, as I said, this is going to be the very first time we actually try out this game mode on this channel, and the first time I've even looked into it basically on the game. So as I loaded in and did the settings, I found a bit of an issue. Now we can jump into the Russian Grand Prix. Now the way it works is you jump in before that Grand Prix has been done. If I wanted to carry on from where the Russian Grand Prix left off, because we can't do Turkey physically, to allow the game to simulate the rest of the season essentially, we're going to jump in as Mazepin in the real season start. I'm going to ignore the Russian Grand Prix result. We're going to make our own custom table here, and we're going to start just after the Turkish Grand Prix. So these are the real life standings right now. We're going into USA, and now we're going to use the real season start race results, at least, into USA, Mexico, Brazil, Abu Dhabi. We're going to use those results, add them into this custom table we've got for after the Turkish Grand Prix, and then also at the same time, because we can't physically get Qatar or Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia is coming in next month. Qatar will never come to the F1 game, at least this year, obviously. So what I've done is I've chosen suitable replacements. Now, this is my logic. Now, if you look at Qatar, the layout of the circuit, kind of, you know, very similar maybe to Portugal or Spain. I guess in terms of the layout of Qatar, MotoGP circuit, narrow, I did think the French Grand Prix would be a suitable substitution, because I do feel like it's going to be a French Grand Prix vibe, where it looks amazing to watch in qualifying, but in the race, it's not that great. But I've gone for Portugal, since the circuit, kind of from the mini-map at least, kind of looks somewhat similar. And then, as I alluded to earlier, I think Saudi Arabia is going to be kind of a Baku, Azerbaijan Grand Prix vibe. Long back straight, maybe some chaos. So we are going to use real season start. So we're going to get simulated R&D, and I'm going to show you the R&D graphs at certain points of the season as we go towards that finale of Abu Dhabi. But we're going to basically bod job it together, since the game's a bit broken, missing some circuits as well, and basically just make it a little bit more presentable to you guys in this video. So we're going to start off plain and simple with the next Grand Prix, the USGP. So after Turkey, these are the points. We got Verstappen in the lead, 262.5, and Hamilton 256.5. So in simple terms, 6 points apart. And we're going to see now, after the US Grand Prix in the real season start, what the standings look like. Now at this point, the game has, I think, simulates the R&D in a way where it sort of matches up with what we're seeing in real life and what we're seeing in these standings right now. So in this zoomed in kind of part of the R&D graph, this is where we're up to at USA, and we can see Red Bull and Mercedes are very much level pegging, very close, you know, a couple of pixels in between them, and then you got the rest of the grid. So closely matched, but we know how good Hamilton is around USA. So let's see what the game thinks the results of the USA Grand Prix are going to be. Unfortunately, unlike FIFA and other games, when we simulate, there's no way to actually watch what's going on or see what's happening in real real time. We're just literally going to get the results. So let's see what they have in store for USA. So very surprisingly, Valtteri Bottas has ended up winning the USA Grand Prix. Hamilton in second place. Verstappen's not even in the points. He's not even in the first page. We have to scroll down. He's had an issue with the car. So I don't know, either a crash or a retirement or whatever. But the game has predicted Verstappen to get some sort of DNF at the USA Grand Prix. Bottas leads a 1-2 for Mercedes, back-to-back wins for the porridge boss himself, and Hamilton gets a whole 18 points on Max Verstappen. Ricciardo gets another podium for McLaren with a fast up of the Grand Prix somehow, ahead of the Ferraris. Perez down in a lowly P6, so a tough race for Red Bull as a whole, ahead of then Lando, Vettel, Alonso, and Pierre Gasly. Surprising, to say the least, from USA. The game already chucking a spanner into the works, and that's a massive swing for Hamilton in the championship. So Hamilton's gone from being 6 points down to now 12 points ahead of Verstappen after USA. So even though he didn't win the Grand Prix, that's still actually a bigger swing than he could have hoped for if he goes on to win it in real life and Verstappen comes second, let's say. So that's already a really big deal then for the championship in this prediction. Bottas gets a load of points and kind of solidifies third place ahead of Norris, Perez, Leclerc. So now going into the Mexican Grand Prix, crucial race for Verstappen to come back at Hamilton. It is a bit of a Red Bull circuit, I would say. Red Bull go well around Mexico, and in-game, in the real season start, Red Bull have actually made upgrades now. So they've been simulated to actually bring upgrades to Mexico, get even closer to Mercury on paper in terms of the R&D here. So let's see what that's going to mean for the actual simulated race results. Verstappen is going to win the Mexican Grand Prix. Sets a fast up of the Grand Prix whilst he does it. No surprise, it is a good circuit for Red Bull generally speaking. So 26 points there with that extra point. Hamilton though does get second place. So he limits the damage and does the best job he can. 18 points in the bag. Bottas in third, Perez in P4, Leclerc ahead of the two McLarens, AlphaTauri of Gasly, Vettel and Tsunoda end off the points. But that is a crucial race for Verstappen's championship, because now after Mexico, Hamilton with 292.5 points and Verstappen 288. 0.5. So the gap is now only 4 points between Verstappen and Hamilton. Verstappen's closed that gap up a little bit, all thanks to the win and the fast up of the Grand Prix. That extra point, 8 points on Hamilton, closes that gap up. Going into the Brazilian Grand Prix, the game is predicting and simulating all things to kind of be stationary with Red Bull and Mercedes in the R&D chart. Ferrari make a few little upgrades there maybe, so could they annoy the top two teams and get in the middle of the title fight? Who knows? Let's see. Because Brazil, Sao Paulo, goes to Mercedes. And it's not just any win by Hamilton. It's a win, the fast lap of the Grand Prix, and it's a 1-2 for Mercedes. Now, Merc, to be fair to them, even though, you know, Horn is confident of Red Bull's chances, Red Bull, you've seen in the past, have gone well around Sao Paulo. Mercedes equally have gone very well around Sao Paulo, and also Hamilton has as well. So it's a 1-2 for them. It's a win at Brazil, fast lap, and Verstappen's down in P3. So that means he's going to get 11 whole points over Hamilton at Brazil. So that's a really big punch back into Verstappen's title chances here after Sao Paulo. Then you've got Lando Norris in P4, ahead of Leclerc. Perez, really poor race in P6. Ricciardo P7 ahead of Gasly, Vettel and Tsunoda. So the championship fight keeps on ebbing and flowing, and Hamilton now is 15 points ahead of Verstappen. So he's kind of clawed back what he lost almost at the Mexican Grand Prix. Actually a little bit more really if you think about it, because he got first place, Verstappen third there, whereas at Mexico, Verstappen got first, but Hamilton was able to limit the damage in second place. So Hamilton real big swing back after Sao Paulo, and now we come to the interesting part. Obviously we've got Qatar next up. We can't play Qatar, so we're going to use Portimao as a kind of Qatar replacement, if you will. So let's see what the game simulates there. So at the Qatar Grand Prix, Verstappen is the one that comes out on top. He wins it with fast up the Grand Prix, 26 points. Hamilton second place. Surprise, surprise, the two just jockeying for position on the podium, basically. Ever since that USA Grand Prix prediction of Verstappen being out, out the points, they've never left the podium then. So Verstappen with the win, 26 points to Hamilton's 18. So he's going to get 8 points back on Hamilton and get the same basically amount he got from Mexico. Bottas in third place, rounding out the podium. Perez in P4, Leclerc, Norris, Gasly, Ricciardo, Alonso and Ocon. So the Alpines looking a little bit better around this circuit. And in terms of the fight for McLaren and Ferrari, well, Sainz out the points. That'll be a bit of a dent to them. Of course, it's not actually Qatar. Portimao, to be fair, actually is a very different circuit to Qatar in terms of elevation, just because of the track map. I chose it as a replacement. To be fair, for France could have been a better kind of, replacement in terms of flat circuit, like for like. There, though, to be honest, if you think about it, like in real life, Verstappen may have come out on top there as well and won it with the first half of the Grand Prix ahead of Hamilton. So, actually, in terms of an accurate, prediction, as close as we can get in terms of like for like, I think this has actually done quite a good job, because I think we would have got the same sort of result at France, and I think France, in terms of elevation, is more similar to Qatar. So, after Qatar, Hamilton leads the championship still, but now the gap is down to 7 points again. So, it keeps kind of, bubbling away from a single digit, 6, 7, 8 to the teens of like, 16 to 18 basically, with Hamilton still keeping the margin ever since that USGP. So the prediction that Verstappen's going to have a DNF or mechanical issue at USA is really hampering him, and this is kind of almost like in real life, the pundits have said it'd be a shame if this is determined on a DNF, but at the same time the team bosses have said it really may, it could depend on reliability. They need to, there's still a chance Hamilton takes another engine penalty, the same maybe with Honda and Red Bull, who knows. So, as much as it's annoying, kind of like in real life, maybe it's going to come down to the kind of mechanical part of the car. If it keeps steady and they don't have issues in the race, rather than actual on merit what they can do out on track in terms of how fast they are. But at the moment then, after Qatar, Hamilton still leads. Let's go to Saudi Arabia. So at Saudi Arabia, which is going to be Baku, I think like for like, similar sort of circuit, long back straight, kind of, I get the same sort of vibe basically, to be honest, from Saudi Arabia for Baku. And Verstappen has gone on to win this. So back-to-back wins at the new circuits, Qatar and Saudi Arabia. This time, though, Hamilton crucially gets a fast up of the Grand Prix. So that might really help out as we go to Abu Dhabi, the final race. But Verstappen then 25 points, 6 points gained on Hamilton, not 7. So that fast up of the Grand Prix is really quite crucial. Perez with the podium. Bottas completely not in the points there, so he has a mechanical issue or some kind of issue in the race. So Perez rounds out the podium with Norris in P4, Ricciardo P6. It's a weaker race for Ferrari, it would seem, with Sainz in P7 and Leclerc down in P10. So that's going to be quite important for the third place fight in the Constructors' Championship. And Gasly does very well in the AlphaTauri, P5 there. And then you've got Alonso and Vettel in P8 and P9. So after Saudi Arabia then, we've got one race to go. And look at this. Hamilton and Verstappen are separated by one single championship point going into the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. I really hope, for the sake of real life, that this prediction can be somewhat accurate. Can you imagine going into Abu Dhabi with it separated by 1 point? The tension, the storyline would be absolutely insane. That is amazing. That's sick. At this point, going into Abu Dhabi, Bottas has solidified third place, and unfortunately for Lando and McLaren, Perez has jumped up to P4, so the game predicting Perez to maybe keep the momentum from Turkey, the podium he got, and carry on and go and overtake Lando. To be fair to him, he's in the Red Bull, so Lando's done very well this season to be battling for P3 at times in the championship, but the game predicting that eventually he'll fall away a bit and be in P5. Then you've got Leclerc, Ricciardo, Sainz, and Gasly, Alonso rounding up the top 10. Leclerc pulling away a bit from Sainz now in this simulation. To be fair, though, the game, I think, obviously has a bit of a lean towards Leclerc being the better driver. In real life, we've seen it's a bit more equalised, and Sainz is in massively good form for Ferrari. So maybe not entirely realistic there, I would say. And Ricciardo doing a lot better as well compared to real life, I guess. And now, this is it. The final outcome. The Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. We go back to the actual real season start career game mode we started at the beginning of this video, because obviously those other two we just did were Grand Prix mode predictions. And now we see what the game is going to predict. Who is going to come out on top? Will it be Hamilton or Verstappen winning the championship? Let's see. This is not what I expected. I did not expect this. After the 1-2s or consistent podiums we were seeing from both of them, this is not what I expected. Valtteri Bottas has won the Abu Dhabi Grand Prix. Verstappen second place with the fast lap of the Grand Prix. And Hamilton, he's down in P4. Leclerc has managed a stonking surprise podium in the Ferrari. And that is going to mean Max Verstappen is predicted to win the 2021 Drivers' World Championship by the F1 game here. And by quite a nice margin, considering how close they were into Abu Dhabi. A whole 6 points to Hamilton then, after Hamilton finishes in P4. In terms of the rest of the results, Gasly P5, Sainz P6, Perez down in P7, bit of a poorer race for him. Norris P8 as well, a little bit downer than you would expect him. Stroll P9 and Vettel P10, strong end for Aston Martin. And so going back to the championship order, Verstappen wins it, Hamilton in second, Bottas very much a comfortable third place there, Perez in P4. To be fair to Norris though, Perez only 3 points ahead, so Lando nearly getting P4 here in the McLaren. Leclerc ahead of Sainz, Ricciardo, Gasly, Alonso round out the top 10, and then the rest of the order is Ocon, Vettel, Stroll, Tsunoda, Russell. Unfortunately, unlike in real life, the game is going to really hamper the lower teams. You know, we're not seeing Russell qualifying in Q3 and get maybe 1 or 2 points here like we're seeing in real life, so he remains on 16 points. Latifi 7, and Raikkonen and Giovinazzi round out the point scorers with the Haas firmly at the back. But Verstappen has been predicted to win the championship. But despite that, Mercedes actually go on to still win the Constructors, as Perez doesn't really pull his weight enough for Red Bull, and Bottas, a resurgence for him in this prediction for this last part of the season, more so really, is helping Mercedes score more points. So they finish up on 642.5 with Red Bull on 569.5. Very much the difference being Bottas v Perez in this prediction. McLaren finish ahead of Ferrari for third place in the Constructors. AlphaTauri actually managed to hold on to P5 in the battle with Alpine then, and Aston Martin, a world of their own really, no man's land, P7 ahead of Williams, again no man's land ahead of Alfa Romeo, and then Haas. So that concludes our prediction with the F1 2021 game on what's going to happen in the real life season. The game has predicted Max Verstappen to come out on top. Guys, if you did enjoy the video, hit that like button. Let me know what you thought in the comments below. Let me know what you thought of the individual race predictions, maybe what the game got wildly wrong. What do you make of this game prediction? Obviously, you know, we know it's a game, so it's gonna, you know, it's a random kind of number generator in a way. Obviously, it's kind of based off what it is in the game with the R&D and the car performances, the AI. So there's a lot of nuances, obviously, so take it with a massive pinch of salt. Just having some fun here today, predicting the rest of the season with the F1 game. So again, if you did enjoy, hit the like button. If you are new around here, do get subscribed for weekly Formula 1 content. I'll see you guys next time. Goodbye.